I feel like making videos again. Yeah. Gee, I hated it for about 24 hours. Well, 36, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I'm just going to do the same video. I've said this before. I'm just going to do it over and over again. Because, it's just all these big minds, all these great brains, and they keep ignoring the elephant, in the room kind of thing. The big giant facts that really do define us, define our circumstance. And they keep, playing with the little knickknacks on the glass shelves and the mirrors and going, ooh, look, I can make a funny reflection on the wall. Hand puppets, they keep playing all kinds of little games around the big giant elephant facts. And they just keep pretending they're not there, like they don't exist. And, I understand it, I guess, because, I sort of was trapped in that blindness for pieces of my life too, where I struggled with these ultimate questions, because I couldn't see the clarity of it, the obviousnness of it, because of my conditioning. I was conditioned not to see it. I was made to think, from a perspective that endorsed and embraced and sought to find meaning and purpose. And it just didn't even occur to me that, what do you mean, it's possible the whole universe is out of its mind? No one gave me that option, really. And so it just wasn't open as an option. That is ludicrous, truly ludicrous. These aren't words you don't have a 5-year-old kid and start explaining to him, well, look, this is how nature works. These little creatures are stuck here, so they've evolved to eat each other. They're going to die anyway. It's all just biology. It's all about just making copies, and whoever makes the most copies wins kind of thing. But you can't make too many copies because then you'll eat each other, and you'll die out because you'll eat all the food. And, so there's all these balancing equations, so you can't go too crazy in terms of reproduction. So it has to be all these subtle mechanisms. And, as In Mendham has said, there is this other subtle mechanism that no one really has talked about in evolution, where, you just don't want to become food, because then a whole bunch of animals will figure out how to eat you. So in some ways, you don't want to be too prevalent. You don't want to be like molds or something. You don't want to be all over the place, even though you could be. Even though your design is rock solid, you don't want to cover the earth, because then something's going to make a meal out of you and learn how to eat you, and you'll be the target. It's like, it's kind of like how, all the other web browsers kind of got under the radar a little bit when it came to hacking, because, the big score was to hack Microsoft, Internet Explorer. That was where the big reward would be. Who cared about Oprah or this or that, all these little things, Opera, whatever the fuck it is. Because, no point in hacking something that no one's using. You want to score with the big one. And so you don't want to become that kind of target. But anyway, In Mendham's great. So we're not going to talk about him right now, though, because we're on a different subject. Which is, this is fucked, okay? There's no way to logically look at the first thing you can do is you can eliminate the God pretty quick. But you just say, or even whatever, any kind of intelligence anywhere in the universe, in its design, in its manufacture. Because an intelligence would have an appreciation for sentience. It would know that it's going to be part of this evolution thing if it happens, and that it's just dangerous as hell to be fucking with that. Frankenstein all over the place. You don't mess with it, and you wouldn't play a game with it. Is the point? An intelligence, a true intelligence, some kind of dopey evolved intelligence, like a human. Well, maybe I could make a mistake like that, but any kind of universal intelligence wouldn't create this slop. Wouldn't create this sloppy way. Anyway, and then, just the whole idea of it. What happened? Oh, a cell became capable of reproduction. That's our origin. So we don't need Einstein quotes. We don't need a bunch of, isn't it all mysterious? Isn't it all bizarre? How do we comprehend it? The color yellow isn't the color yellow, blah, 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 blah. No, we don't need any of that crap. All we have to do is look at the big fat elephant, which is one cell, 3-4 billion years ago, that was able to reproduce itself. Bang. Big trouble. coming. Okay, the train wreck is now on the track, and it's chugging along. So that's the beginning of the end. That's the source of the horror. And intelligence wouldn't do that. Intelligence wouldn't just pop it in there and then run away. No, they'd be actively involved in their little experiment. And it's only one stinking molecule so far that we know of. And yes, it was possible, so it happened. So here we are. And through that evolution, incredible barriers traversed. Who knows how improbable, having the reproducing cell was bizarre enough. But yeah, getting all the way to this human thing, it was probably, spectacularly improbable, if we could say something. But what does it mean? It doesn't mean a damn thing. We're still the same fucking machine. Mouth, asshole, penis. It's not that fucking complicated. Yes, we have a psychology and we're doing this thinking thing, but you can dissect it. You can dissect our entire psychology, and you can see the crap that it's made out of. Okay, we are completely controlled by the physics, and we're completely controlled by the biology and by the circumstances of our circumstances, where we're born and what time we're born, and all that crap will dictate what life we're going to live, what we're going to feel, what our fate's going to be. And fate, there's part of it right there. Look at the mechanism. Yeah, of course we die. We don't die for a good reason. We die because we reproduce. And the only way you can reproduce is you have to have some kind of mortality built in. That's the first thing evolution is going to take care of, is creating the dead gene, accidentally, inadvertently, as a byproduct. It doesn't matter, but it's going to be there. It's going to happen, because the reproduction thing on island planets won't go anywhere unless there's some mechanism that controls it, that stops the reproducers from surviving to keep reproducing, because you can't do it. You can replace population, but you can't keep growing population. It's unsustainable. And so that's it. There's no good reason why we die. The reason is to make it possible for us to reproduce. That's it. It's a stupid reason. But it's the way the machine works. It's a consumption and reproduction machine. And again, let's go through this evolution thing. It could take place in lots of different ways. It could have been lots of different directions it went in. But especially old evolution, and I think ours is pretty old. It's pretty old. Billions of years is old. It's going to fall into this cannibalism thing, where the evolution is going to be about competition. It's not going to be about go west, young microbe, and find your way. And that's how evolution, if it was in some kind of infinite plane, it could just keep expanding its environment. It wouldn't have to keep recycling it. And so it'd be a different kind of evolution that would win in that, because it wouldn't even be a strict competition. I suppose it could be, though. It could be both. You could have both an expansion component and a go back and eat the origin component. Your genetics could run both ways. But that's a whole nother. I don't want to get into that. That's a draft science video. But I really want to just get to this point. We know how we got here. There's nothing mystical about it, nothing magical. It's consumption and reproduction. The key word is reproduction. The consumption is just an incidental requirement of complex beings. You cannot just reproduce something of high mass. Even a radioactive pile of rock can't just keep producing forever. It runs out. So it either consumes or it just runs out. And so, to reproduce as organisms, it's likely that we're going to have to collect parts to build a copy. And on a crowded planet, we're going to collect parts that are still being used by other animals. And it's going to get nasty and fucking ugly. And that's all it is. Nasty and ugly. People want to just romanticize it, and, have some wine and cheese and sit on a rock and say, that's fine. I mean, entertain your little emotional bits. No one's taking that away from you. But don't do that and call it philosophy. I mean, come on. Don't do that and call it the truth. Shit. This isn't about your fucking experience. It's about defining this reality. And this reality, life is reproduction. Consumption, reproduction, and, given enough time, cannibalism. So we got 3 things now we can throw in there. Consumption, reproduction, cannibalism. And then we can start trying to figure out a way to add the sheer gross abuse